You don't have that with embryonic stem cells because they cause tumors and things like that. And the great thing about these cells, they don't cause tumors because they differentiate. They don't want to be a baby. They're just there to do their job, which is to keep homeostasis, keep the immune system controlled, can help with regeneration, all that sort of thing.
And talk about that, but the embryonic stuff, because I find this interesting. The embryonic stuff is full of weird anomalies and stuff, right?
Yeah, a few of us got together and wrote an article when they finally put the clamp on the last embryonic stem cell treatment, and we've been saying for years that embryonic stem cells aren't going to work because they want to become babies. Their number one problem is they want to become babies. They don't want to. These cells, the cells that we start with, they don't want to become babies. The babies are already born. They're mature. They're mesenchymal, and that's what they are. And they're never going to be anything else. Whereas the embryonic stem cells, the biggest problem with them is they always form tumors. They form teratomas. And so in order for them to be functional, you have to grow them out. And if you want them to have MSC-like qualities, you have to force them to become MSCs. And then you have to make darn sure that there aren't any, if it only takes one. If there's one left, then it's going to form a tumor. So that was the big problem, that the expense, it was $300,000-$400,000 a dose just to make sure that they didn't have one in them. And then they weren't as beneficial, and they've been monkeyed with in the lab from when they were embryonic and then converted and converted and converted and converted and then grown up in huge numbers. And so they were monkeyed with. And these cells, you don't have to monkey with them. They just do it naturally. You just take them out, you digest them, you put them in a nutrient broth in the right temperature and humidity and oxygen levels, and they just grow. And so we wrote an article about embryonic stem cells. We call it the king is dead, long live the king, because the California voters knee-jerk $3 billion towards embryonic stem cell work, against the Bush administration's restriction of spending money on embryonic stem cell research. It wasn't banned, as most people said. All they said was, we're not going to use taxpayer money, federal taxpayer money, to go towards that. And what people heard was they don't want progress. Well, what's happened is at last count, I think they spent $2.75 billion. They got $250 million left, and guess what they're studying now? Adult stem cells. They're studying umbilical cord stem cells. They're studying mesenchymal stem cells. They've completely cut out everything on the embryonic side because it just took that long. There was so much misinformation out there, and now, thank God, it's gone, and we regained our sanity. But we blew a lot of dough on the whole embryonic thing.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of money, and we paid as taxpayers in California for that, because people were misinformed.